Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, where I would like to get on-off ramps done over here before we go too much further. And also I believe I noticed, yes, we do not have on-off ramps up here either. So I'll need to get that done. I'm hoping that this will go much more swiftly than it did with the last episode. That would be ideal. But let's just take this section of road out and see what we can do. Do we have to do any significant terraformation to make this work? I'm hoping that we don't. Ooh, that's pretty high, but actually this will work just fine right here. Yeah, I like it. So then in theory, we'd bring this guy out over here. I mean, there's a shadow blotch, but I think I can live with that. Maybe. Maybe we want to bring that out just a little bit further. It is pretty truncated. So we would maybe bring it out over like here, right? Or maybe here. Okay, that's got that same issue that we had before. I don't love that. And that's probably because this is the same style of off-ramp, if I had to guess. So if we were to stretch it out to, say, here, that slope too steep, but we can put it here. That's wild. Okay, let's leave that be for the moment, and let's just put a ramp over here and see how this goes. I mean, it's not great, is it? Okay, so we may end up having to, yeah, and we can see that this has now developed a problem here once this building goes in. Okay, so it's pretty clear then. This is fine. That's not an issue. I would like to prevent a left turn here. So it would end up being like this. That's absolutely okay. I have no problems with what's going on here. So then if we were to bring this guy up over here, that's reasonably fine. And then maybe just redo these two. And I'm wondering, what do we have for... Yeah, that should be reasonably fine. It might have something to do with our pillar work here. So I'm going to attempt to get a different set of pillars here to see if that will clean this up nice and easily. That would be the goal anyway. Ooh, I don't like where this snapped to. Okay, right about here. I think that's the exact same pillars, to be honest, but we'll see if that changes anything. So we would like to have this come out from about here. That is not Curve Tool. Curve Tool helps. No doubt about that. So from about here to, in theory, about here. But that slope too steep. It allows us to do this, but that looks terrible. It's not as bad as it initially looked, but it is kind of bad. So I'm definitely not a huge fan of that. What if we brought it out here? That's giving us invalid shape, but this is then allowed. But then we run into this issue. I don't know why this is happening. I have to assume this is a game bug. Like, this can't be intended behavior where it lets us build like that and then is like, nope, there's just this line of dirt over your road for some reason. I have to assume that that's not expected behavior. This is reasonably fine. I don't hate that. Of course, we would want to prevent left turns here. So it'd end up being like that, right? So at this point, it's just this section of highway that would need to be redone. This is just significantly wider, right? So that's absolutely fine. I don't mind going a little bit wider with it. In fact, we could bring it out like this. And that's the same problem. I feel like that's the same functional point where I had it before. Maybe. That very well might be the case. Let's try this out over here, and we're going to try bringing this substantially further out. It's trying to merge it into an awkward lane. Maybe this. I mean, that works. Yeah, that works. I'm okay with it. So now we're going to need to get these roads rebuilt, right? And that means that these homes have got to go. Because we're going to need to bring this road out using the curve tool. We're going to need to bring this road up and over here. Now, where's this pillar at? Right there? Okay. It's going to have to come up like this. Come over here like that. And then simply come in, honestly, just kind of, well, I want it to come in about like this, I think. Okay. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. That's for sure. And this is all just low density housing out over here. So that seems fine. We can just make this all be low density. We do end up losing out on a little bit of zonable territory there, but all things considered, that's not too bad. Now, do we want to do something about this lack of zonable territory here? I don't suppose we can sneak a road in between these pillars, broadly. Surely we can't do that, right? Surely that's illegal. Yeah, that's definitely illegal. Okay. I just wanted to check that. One thing we could theoretically do, though, and this would probably necessitate like a rebuilding of every single one of these, but as a hypothetical, we could do something like this, right? Where this builds out to about here, and then we build a square around here, and then connect it in over here. That's going to run into some issues. That's maybe something to think about for future developments, but I think for right now, we don't need to do that. What we do need to do is get some on-off ramps going over here. Given this terrain here, this could be mildly awkward. We'll see how this goes. So we need to do an on-ramp over here. Approximately. And then an off-ramp over here, right? That's giving a slope too steep, and that is not surprising at all to me. Because when we look at the way that this is done, right, this definitely needs to be smoothed out a little bit here. So we could use the slope terrain tool, but I'm going to use the level terrain tool here at a size of 50-ish. Bring this straight on over, and then we'll use the slope terrain tool. Grab this height, and we're just going to go zoop. Something like that. Okay. So next, what I want to do is I want to build out this section of road out to about here. That's overlapping items. We literally just had a road there. Oh, right. That would be the case because the highway drops off there too. Right, that makes sense. Okay, so we'll need to rebuild this section of highway out to like here, right? And then that would end up going, like dropping a pillar about here. And then this would need to come in over here. Now, I don't know if we can get there with this slope. That's going to be a pretty steep slope going into the roundabout. So we might have to take this out and rebuild this section after we get this road through. But I want to get this road through first. So that's going to end up being right there. Oh, this is a curve tool. Hang on. That's going to end up being right there. And then this is going to be slope too steep, which isn't actually shocking to me. What we want to do now is we want to get the off-ramp built. Order of operations is very, very important here. So then we take this down, maybe a little further out. Yeah, about here. Okay. Now we get this section out. And this section of highway out as well. Then we want to build in this section of road, which we now can do. And then we want to build in this section of highway. And this is where we might run into some issues. Actually, it just works. Okay. That is remarkable. I didn't expect that to work. I'll be honest. We do need to set up our turn lanes here. So let's get our left turn forbidden here and here. There we go. And now we need our next set of ramps, which is going to be here, right? And that should be easier, judging by the lay of the land. So in theory, that'll be about here and about here. Oh, yeah, that was very simple. So now we will, of course, forbid left-hand turns here and here. Okay, phenomenal. So no left turns allowed there. That gets all of that done. Do we have any other? Hello. That is lacking an on-ramp. Okay, so we'll need to do that right around over here. So these are going to be right that direction. Gotcha. So that'll be somewhere around here going in about here. That slope too steep, but this is actually fine. Never mind, it's not slope too steep at all. I was lied to. Phenomenal. So now we can turn off those left turns, those evil, evil left turns. There we go. Cool. And we could do the same over here in theory. So no left turn here, no left turn here, right? And that would be exactly what we want. In theory, we want that like everywhere. So no left turn, no left turn. And then over here, it would be no left turn, right? But like I said, I'm not going to go through and do every single intersection that we have here like that because there are several. There are several intersections, and we are not going to go through every single one and do that. We will do it if we have problems. That is to say, traffic. So what do we need right now? Well, right now we need a large amount of low-density residential. So that pretty much means extending out this section of road here, and that will go out to about here. And then that'll come right on down like so. Technically, that's 90 degrees. I think this is just the wrong endpoint. Like, we went to the wrong lane there. Okay, that's technically 89. But whatever. I guess it'll be close enough. So, this is going to go over 4 blocks, right? So, we want this to go to 112. And then this would go up here 112 and then just link in like that. And then we would bring this guy over to 108 to 117. That is kind of crazy. Okay, snap only to angle, please. Actually, and zone grid. Yeah, that's not helpful. Okay, let's try this zoomed in a bit and see if that helps. It's trying to snap to this road down here, I think. So let's have it not snap to existing geometry, but everything else. What is that snapping to? Guidelines? Yes, guidelines. Okay, don't snap to that guideline. There we go. That's where we want it. Now we want guidelines. So now we can snap in here. I think I snapped that to the wrong lane, but no, that looks fine. So I don't think there's actually a problem there. And then this would be brought over to be about 110 is the best we can get there. Okay, I guess that's fine. And you would come on in over here. Although I feel like I missed the angling there, but we can bring that in more like this and fix it from that direction. Okay, so that's 4 streets there, and then this next one would end up being a highway, right? So that would be right outside of the city limits. Right outside of the city limits. So technically, we don't need one there. Technically. Now, we can extend this highway over, but I want to run these roads down first, connecting in here, here, and here. Now, the next road over is down here, right? So we don't need to go all the way down there. That's fine. We just want to extend this highway over now, and that should be at 10 meters, dropping here a pillar, here a pillar. We're going to have some pillar issues out over through here, I'm quite positive. And to that end, I'm going to be deleting this section of road, which was always intended to be temporary. So then we take this to 180. And then we try to run a pillar out over here. Yeah, I'm not surprised that we're running into issues on that. I'm deeply unsurprised about that one. So, I'm going to take out this section of highway. And we're going to just bring this in like so. Where does that put the pillar? Yep, that'll be the problem. So, that is slightly awkward. We could move both sections of highway this direction. We have a few options here, and the question is, which do we want to do, right? I want to snap only to angle here. So the absolute best that we could do is this. Yeah, we're just at an awkward angle here for this highway, and we've dealt with this before. At like this angle over here, things got awkward. I think our best bet to handle this will indeed be to curve this road around a little bit. So using the curve tool, we are going to do exactly that. Snapping back on, and we would want this to be at 180 and just curve it slightly up over here. Okay, that's going to have to be a little bit wacky here. Maybe a little too wacky. This is going to have to go down a little bit further. So, we're going to have to change that final angle there. So that's okay. We can definitely do that. This is going to come out here like this. And then it's going to need to curve, and I think we want this out further, to be honest. So about here, and then about here. And then this would come in like that. It's kind of horrific, to be honest. But we can maybe make it work. Now we can't delete this section. Okay. Well, there. Now we can delete it. And we'll have to reconstruct this, and that's not the worst thing, to be honest. Reconstructing this with a little bit more space to work with is not bad here. So I kind of want it to be about here, and then curve it in like that. It's better-ish. But of course, this section of road needs to get dealt with, right? We're going to have to redo that. We always knew we were going to have to redo that section of road. I don't like how this curves and this doesn't. And I just don't generally like the way that this curves. But I really don't think that we can get any gentler on that curve. So I think we're going to have to leave it be like this. It's going to be awkward. And I think it's just going to have to, we're just going to have to live with it. Form, or rather function over form, right? That's going to be what we're going to have to go with here. And I guess that's okay. So we'll just extend this guy out to the city limits for the time being. Before we get any other infrastructure built here, we should really do on-off ramps. So this ramp is going to be very tight here. Yeah. So that's going to have to come out like way over here probably and make its way up over this direction. That works. It's not pretty, but it works. So I think that's going to have to be our theme for this particular intersection over here. And that's just generally going to be form over function. We can't upgrade this to 3-lane because that exceeds the city limits. I mean, we could expand our city limits out here just for the purposes of doing that. We're going to have to expand out this way eventually anyway, I suppose. So we'll just get that done. That'll allow us to bring this up to a tri-lane, and then we can, from here, of course, do something along the lines of this, which will be far better. And then out over here, this would be fairly simple to bring this in. Something broadly like that. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. But it does function for some definitions of function. I'm not content with the way it looks. We may change it later, but for now, it does work. So if it bothers me later, we'll change it. It probably will. But for now, we're just going to need to go through and forbid a few left-hand turns here. Or I guess just the one left-hand turn. Everything else is fine. Yeah. So that's no problem there. Now we're going to need to get this road rebuilt. So I'm going to take this out for the moment. We're going to have to rerun this road with the curve tool. So that's going to come out over this direction, right? And then we want that to eventually curve up. But honestly, this is going to have to be straight line to like here. think. Can we start it curving up over like this way? Oh, what was that? This works. I mean, I would like to get it through under here. Actually, I mean, we can. I prefer to get it through at this angle. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take this through around here or so. Then curve it out over this way. And from there, I think we took this a little too far, actually. Let me try this again. Out to about here. Because we want this to be linked in down over this way, right? So I want to put it about here.
You're listening to
and then curve it in like that.
Of classical listening at home or where
that is kind of hideous. Okay, we'll go with it, though. At least for the moment. We have a severe need for housing, so it'll have to do. We'll bring this in for now, and we can always adjust it later if we choose to, but I probably won't. Like, my goal will be to not have to adjust it. It does kind of work. It is technically functional. So I guess it's fine. Indeed. Technically functional. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to extend these roads up to here, right? So we need to take this in and then link it here. And then bring this guy right on over to here. And bring him down. And then this guy right on over to... Oh, wait. What is this positioning? Mildly awkward. No doubt about that. I'm just wondering... What is this positioning in terms of how long this road is? 97 meters? That is not sufficiently long. Why did this get placed here? Let's take that out of there for now, and let's set a new benchmark road here. So this would be 112, right? And then that would come directly down here. That is not straight at all. This is more straight, but that's 89 degrees. Okay, we'll go with it because it appears to be straight from here. Okay, I'm sure it'll be fine. There's absolutely no problems whatsoever with what we've got going on over here. So we need to bring this guy right on through here, and then this guy right on through here. And getting this meta block will, of course, be quite important. Now we're going to have another road crossing, like right here. But for now, we might not need to worry about that one. Let's just extend out this highway. Something like... We want this to be at the correct height, of course. Here, 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 and then out to the city limits. Okay, so like that, and then we can do our on-off ramps. In theory, this shouldn't be much of a problem if I use the curve tool. If I use the bulldoze tool as well. Okay, let's try this again. Out to about here or so. Overlapping items. Oh, we weren't technically on the road here. There we go. So then bring this one down somewhere like that, and then get our left turn prohibitions in there. Phenomenal. And then up over here. We would do about the same thing out here and in here. Beautiful. And left turn prohibitions. There we go. Okay, so that is that section good to go. Now, would we want to do any, like, would we want to do an off-ramp here? There should be an off-ramp here, actually. It's a kind of awkward place to put one. But technically, according to the pattern, an off-ramp goes here, and we would be able to fit one in. Like that. Once again, no left turn here. But broadly, that kind of works. Does that help or hinder the already kind of questionable appearance of this area? You know, I'm not sure it really does much of anything. Why do we have a traffic jam here? People are trying to merge in. I guess that means that this 3-lane isn't far enough back. People are trying to merge in too late, I think. So that means that we should upgrade this here. We should also probably maintain the tri-lane relatively evenly. About like this. So now there's more time for people to move over into the 3rd lane. And hopefully that will get that traffic moving relatively soon. No, that seems okay. That seems relatively fine, although people are still merging in, but not very many people are driving on beyond this exit here. This exit's going to be a pretty popular one, it seems. Intriguing. Even more so once we get this highway, most likely. Because then they'll hit the roundabout here and be able to just go up this direction very easily instead of going, like, around here and then all the way over to here. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, but this is looking very, very popular here. No doubt about it. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get this vertical highway built. And that is going to, once we get that built and figured out how we're going to do the exits for that one, that'll be very interesting. Once we get that done, then we should be getting close to done with our exits along this highway, right? Did we get them down here? Yes, we did. So this highway here it's interesting trying to fit that into our structure. No doubt about it. And by interesting, I mean complicated. But you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods, and in the meantime, what am I saying? I completely messed up my outro. That's been a while. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.